Your Excellency, the Governor of Abia State, Your Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, Your Excellency, the wife of the Governor of Abia State, Your Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, Chief Dr. Chikude Mwanwa, the President of Ohakim, my brother, distinguished Senator Osita Isunaso, Senator Eze Ajoko and other senators here, Representative Emeka Ihedioha and other federal legislators here, His Royal Highness Eze Dr. Cletus Ilomoanya, Chairman, Southeast Council of Traditional Rulers, and other traditional rulers here present. The Chairman, World Igbo Congress, the Vice Chairman, World Igbo Congress, former Chairman of WIC, Honorable Commissioners from Imo State and other states, advisors, other great leaders here present, which includes our revered leader, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iwanyangwemefa, Chief Chris Asoloka, President of Akikenga, Chief Barrister Obi Zikobi, distinguished delegates, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I think it is not fair for me to be called up to speak after great speakers and thinkers have spoken. Because we may fall into a fallacy of judging what I will say with all they have marshaled out. And if they have captured what I have in mind to say, you will say I am repeating them. Let me thank the organizers of this event for what they have done. There are some shortcomings. I do hope they will be able to correct these shortcomings. A look at the program shows report by the governors. Why do you want us to report to you? Have we agreed on anything that has made you to come here and ask us to report? And then you went and presented us as if we are here for a school children's debate, keeping us without any table, bringing the table only when I want to come and talk, so that I will not enjoy the full benefit of the table. Let me first of all ask, where are the youths? Where are our youths that I met yesterday? Our youths must be somewhere now in the amusement parks around Detroit, enjoying themselves, when the future we want you to find belongs to them. Where are those beautiful women mingling their waist yesterday? Only few of them are here. Last night I saw more women than men. Today, those women are somewhere preparing one delicious food or the other for delegates that come from Monsoon. This particular event is the most critical. Our women and our youths are supposed to be here.
Well said, well said.
The theme of this year's conference is Kani Dozie Alibo. Kani Dozie Alibo. Have you, as an individual, been able to dissect this theme? I have prepared my little address to you this evening based on the theme. My two brothers have spoken. They have said all sorts of things, problems within the Igbo. But I want to say here, without any equivocation, that the problem of Ndigo is the problem of Imonwe. The problem of Ndigo is the problem of Imonwe. Imaponwegi. Nwa Imonwegi Onyeke Ebo. Ime ihe ọjọọ nnegasi gị Imaponwegi. That is the Igbo-ness in us. There is no difference between a Yoruba man and an Igbo man, except that Igbo-ness in him. Let me start by saying, dear compatriots, if I say I'm delighted to be here today, I am only stating the obvious. I bring to you warm greetings from Nigeria and the blessings of the people of Imo State. Permit me, therefore, to speak to you frankly, and as I usually do, from my heart. Annually, when we leave Nigeria in great numbers to attend the World Igbo Congress, our neighbors and competitors in Nigeria are usually in great discomfiture, believing that Ndi Igbo have come to strategize on how to overcome the Nigerian encumbrance. But sadly, it is usually not so, in the sense that we do not set achievable but measurable short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. I have seen some of the previous conferences packaged, parceled, and sold to the highest bidder. I have seen our brothers and sisters serving at the federal level, playing roles of agents of the federal government. Instead of working as Igbo pathfinders. These inimical tendencies are more evident during election years. It is my hope and prayer that from this day forward, we shall have a change of heart and really make the World Igbo Congress a serious planning and strategy session for the benefit of our people. It is with that hope that I have chosen to share with you my thoughts on a way for the future. Hence the title of my address, Imo Wen, the way to the future of Ndigo. Imo Wen means, who are you? Could I ask you to please say to the person close to you, who are you? Dear compatriots, I have chosen my topic, conscious of the need for us to move the Igbo nation to the next level. That next level is not where we indulge in lamentation of our sorry state in Nigeria. It is not where we languish in self-pity. It is not where we blame past leaders or present federal government and its policies. The next level is where we do a thorough self-examination diagnosis of our present problems dispassionately, reach deep down to those core values that make us in the Igbo, and come up with strategies for dealing with our problems. In doing so, therefore, we must first of all seek to understand ourselves. For the fundamental law of life is that which admonishes man, know thyself. René Descartes, the French mystic and philosopher, in trying to understand what makes him a human being, summed it up thus: cogito ergo sum. Knowing ourselves presupposes a critical inquiry into our attributes as Igbo, our responses to our environment, our relationship with our critical competitors, and our appreciation of the world in which we live, that is Igbo mind. It is often said that man is a product of nature and nurture. In other words, our environment helps to shape what we ultimately become. I would like to delve a little bit into the Civil War and paint my own picture of what the war has taught us. I have often heard many Igbo speak of our circumstances and problems in Nigeria in a way that can only inflict inferiority complex on our young ones. The common cliche is that the war is responsible for our degenerate condition in Nigeria. They tell the young ones that because we lost the war, in fact, others late generals say because we were defeated in the Civil War. That is why we have been reduced to fourth-class citizens today. We cannot deny the obvious. Yes, I must admit war is not a picnic. It means dislocation of families. It means leaving the security of your home and trekking into an uncertain future as a refugee, even in your own country. For the youth, war means not going to school. It means loss of valued property. War means loss of means of livelihood. It means being maimed. It means poverty, hunger, starvation, and disease. War means loss of respect and dignity. It means a complete devaluation of life. War means death. Brothers and sisters, we, Igbo, went through all of this and more. The Civil War set the Igbo nation back. The war devastated our economy, destroyed our infrastructure, and created a mendicant political class, subservient to other cultural groups. It destroyed Igbo core values, which indeed was the intention of the enemy. And I shall return to that later. But the question is the Igbo history just the history of war? The answer is no. What were we before the war? Were we simply defeated in the war? In fact, did we fight against an equal enemy force? Or did we fight the combined forces of Britain, Russia, and Egypt, with neighboring countries providing logistical assistance while America looked the other way? Part of Imo is to look at the Igbo nation before the war, so that we can understand where the rain began to beat us. This is important because often I hear people dampen the spirit of young generation of Igbo with defeatist stories that detract from our manhood. Too often our people dwell on our dark side as if we never had sunshine in our lives. If we continue to feel or feed our children with only accounts of defeat and surrender, we will be unconsciously perpetrating self-doubt and lack of confidence in future generations. If we know who we are, it will be possible to tell our children that we are a great nation, the only one in Africa that resisted British conquest and checkmated Islamic jihads towards Igbo land. The Igbo nation is that one that rejects imperialism or a supreme ruler over us because our nation was founded on republicanism. The story of Armistead by Howard Jones is the story of Joseph Chikwe, Ikedi, and others who led the mutiny of Igbo slaves on the slave ship called Armistead. The dressing narratives and other writings of Apiano is an incredible account of an Igbo boy taken into slavery at the age of 12, who struggled with unconquerable Igbo spirit to eventually buy his own freedom, and later became a navigator, abolitionist, and merchant. He was commissioned by the British monarch to resettle free slaves in West Africa. And in Igbo spirit of Onyagalamande, he said, and I quote, "I decided to help my own countrymen," unquote. If you recall that there was no country called Nigeria in the 17th century, Equiano's countrymen could only mean those slaves who spoke the same language with him, the fellow Igbos. And that accounts for the heavy presence of Ndi Igbo in Sierra Leone today. But sadly, our so-called leaders are unaware of these diaspora Igbos in Sierra Leone. If we know our slaves, we will be inspired by the story of Francois Duvalier, then a postgraduate medical student at the University of Michigan. This very state where we are today was where Francois told another great Igbo son, an unrepentant nationalist and Pan-Africanist, Dr. Ikedi, who passed away in Canada. Our great leader passed away in Canada in the early hours of Sunday, 19th of August, 2007. Dr. Duvalier, who later became president of Haiti and popularly known as Papa Doc, told Ikedi that the Haitians were of Igbo origin. These Igbo slaves in the then island of San Domingo, as Haiti was then known, led the first successful revolution of black slaves that defeated the British forces and established the first black independent republic of Haiti. But that history is obliterated by Britain and British historians till today. So my brothers and sisters, defeat has not always been the lot of Igbo man. We have done great things in the past. We come from a great ancestry. Back home in Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, the Igbo had made astonishing strides. At the time, the first Igbo lawyer in the person of Charles Dandi Onyama was called to the bar of Lincoln's Inn in 1940. The Yoruba had had 2 generations of lawyers. At the time, the Igbo had the first medical doctor in the person of Akanibiam in 1935. The Yoruba had more than 2 generations of doctors. But ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. By 1965, in a state of only 30 years, the Igbo not only caught up with our closest rivals, we outstripped them. By 1965, fellow compatriots, if you talk of commerce and rich men in Nigeria, you talked about Sir Louis Ojukwu and people like Emelu Ojukwu. In fact, when Queen Elizabeth II visited Nigeria in 1956, the federal government of Nigeria could not afford a Rolls Royce to carry her. It was Sir Louis Ojukwu's Rolls Royce that was used to carry the king. If you talked of academics, you talked of Professor Lee Joko at the University of Lagos and Professor Kenneth Dike at Ibadan. We built the first indigenous and still the best university in Nigeria before other regions followed. Before the Alice Nayindas and Philip Asiodun's cadre of Scaphamsets, there had been the Mokedis and the NADs at the top of the civil service of Nigeria. In the army, not only was an Igbo, Major General Johnson Thomas Umunakpabi Ironsi, the general officer commanding the Nigerian army by merit, about 60% of the officer cadre were Igbos. In politics, Igbo sons led by the great Zik not only were at the forefront of liberating Nigeria from colonialism, the Igbo regarded the liberation of Africa as their manifest destiny. Zik was the Colossus who inspired the life of Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, George Padmo, and others into Pan-African struggle. In Nigeria, Zik, an Igbo son, introduced modern professional journalism and published from Warri to Kano and from Onitsha to Port Harcourt, with Lagos-based West African pilot as the flagship of journalism. If it was force, you talked of Emmanuel Ifajunas, the Violent Odogus, the Onyales, the Onyangonas, the Tigers, and the Kiliwis. Fellow compatriots, the Igbo nation has done great things. My brothers and sisters, and we should not walk about with dropping shoulders just because of the Civil War. Even if we must dwell on the Civil War, why not also tell our children about our prowess and exploits during the war? Why not start by disabusing their minds that we were rebels, as our competitors have labeled us? Why not begin by telling them that we never set out to dismember Nigeria, because we built Nigeria more than any other ethnic group? Correct. Why not tell them that we were fighting injustice, the same injustice other oppressed Nigerians are remembering to fight today? Why not tell them that the Igbo were defending their core values that had come under attack by people determined to stop our apartment? Why not tell them that in that war, we held the combined forces of Nigeria, Britain, Russia, and Egypt for 30 good months with our bare hands? Almost repeating what Igbo slaves did in San Domingo, Haiti. If we must talk about the war, why not tell our children about our exploits in our Bagana sector, about our exploits in Umbo Junction, and about our exploits in the Wele sector, and so on? Why not tell them how we ran a mobile government, setting up government in another city 24 hours after being chased out from one? A feat no nation at war has achieved. Why not tell our children that we invented our own rockets and weapons of mass destruction? Why not tell our children that even when we were at war, we never lacked petrol, as the case in Nigeria today? Why not tell our children that we refined our own petrol in refineries constructed by Igbo scientists, as well as produce our own whiskey and soaps and other products? The point I'm making, my brothers and sisters, is that we must know where we are coming from before we know where we are going. And if you do not know where you are going, every route leads to a destination. Our past was a great past, not just a past replete with defeats. It was in fact that great past that came under attack during the Civil War. And it is the fear of that great past that has continued to sustain that attack, and which manifests in what many of you call marginalization. Keeping the Igbo down has become a vehicle for political advancement of other rival groups. And to perpetrate that, all manner of stereotyping of the Igbo is employed. External forces exploit the greed among some of our mendicant political class, induce crisis among us, and turn around to demonize us as people incapable of providing leadership. But such stereotyping flies in the face of truth. For those actually holding up the system in Nigeria are mostly Igbo. The truth is that there is a mortal fear among fellow Nigerians that rather than destroy us, they will hunt a more resilient and enterprising Igbo race. And that if they allow us space, we will not only surge ahead, we will probably wipe out everybody in Nigeria. Thus, the Igbo have become a people to be feared, a people to be suspected, a people to be subjugated, and a people not to be trusted. But to me, what is important is not how people choose to see us, but how we want them to see us. Claiming thousands of lives. It has not subsided even as I speak to you. Those who killed the unity of Nigeria, for example, for fear of the Igbo, are worse of it. There is also the case of Professor Jacobi of the University of Nigeria, who produced anti-cholera vaccine soon after the war. His effort was reduced to ethnic debate, probably because it was not expected that such a feat could come from a rebel of coach. Professor Jacobi simply sold his patent to America. Today, Nigeria controls the fourth anti-cholera vaccines discovered by Jacobi, which is costing Nigeria billions of dollars. What is the way forward? How do we rebrand Igbo? I have done a paper that I will give to you. But let me return to the issue of stereotyping for a moment. When other ethnic groups try to give us negative stereotyping, they are really trying to induce our obsolescence. That effort translates to what we call our marginalization. They paint us black to justify their oppression. Professor Nnoli, in his work, Ethnic Politics in Nigeria, did some important job there. I've already done that for you. I have said, what do we do? You will get this paper. In my paper presented at Igbo Summit, titled Ahamefre, the recovery of our manifest destiny, which I presented in Owerri in 2005. That summit was 100% financed by His Excellency Chief Dr. Chikudemwa. I did itemize 6 points we must embark on to recover the Igbo nation and achieve our manifest destiny. And I titled it Project PIG. I packaged it as a deliberate marketing strategy for repackaging the Igbo man. But let me list some of the items. Number one is internal rehabilitation of displaced Igbos. If we are talking about marginalization, there are Igbos that have been internally marginalized, internally almost wiped out. And everybody will close their mouth. You call their brother Nosu. You have marginalized him. Why don't we begin to wipe out that before we talk about other people marginalizing us? I have looked at issue of security within the Nigerian state. Number 3 is economic partnership of Igbo states for massive job creation. I will dwell on that. Systematic rejection of men of less integrity at polls. Reorientation and citizenship education. and cultivation of Igbo outside the Southeast. And I'm even at the 7th point, which is cultural revival. For want of time, permit me to just elaborate on issues of leadership. Because as Achebe has continued to lament, the problem with Nigeria is failure of leadership. That is equally true of Igbo. We must grow and develop the right leadership. In my view, the Igbo leadership for the 21st century must be informed, transparent and honest. The leadership for the future must be committed, focused, highly motivated and accountable to the people. The new Igbo leadership must be bold, bright, brave, forthright and above all compassionate. The new leadership must be educated beyond just the ability to read and write, but must be knowledgeable about the dynamics of the environment in which it lives. In other words, we need to put our intellectual class to work in the field of political leadership and economic emancipation. We must never be led in the 21st century by big players and artisans who lack a complete view of the structures they contend with and cannot relate politics to the need for development. We must return to our age-long value of hard work, moderation and delayed gratification. Our youths are now too much in a hurry to make it. Thus, many of them are into crime. If we revere hard work, then we must never worship sudden and unexplained wealth or countenance the ostentation that fellow compatriots, you would have noticed before you left Nigeria to come in the olden days that in Igbo culture, the young man, Mbaji, which is the storehouse of a man's wealth and possession, is never at the forecourt of the house, but at the back. In some places, young bands, Mbaji, are put in the bush. The simple reason is that it is offensive in Igbo culture to exhibit their possession or wealth lest you attract the ick of your neighbors. But today, an Igbo youngster who can boast of ₦1 million in his bank account makes the noise of 50 million to the irritation of his competitors who are probably richer than he is. He is thus marked out as a target for economic strangulation. We must reorientate our people against that. We need a long-term strategy and goal if we must capture the presidency of this country, for example. Not the usual 4-year ritual of noise and rank opportunism we have exhibited in the past. We must develop a long-term goal. We must develop a long-term goal to which the drive for the presidency fits.